last year my one-man tent that I bought from Go Outdoors 8 years ago unfortunately broke. The fiberglass pole snapped and it basically turned into a bivy bag for the 3 days I was there. But it served me well. It was £25, but it was time for a new one. And after a lot of research, that's where this one comes in. This is the Naturehike Cloud Up 2. I bought it from Amazon during their Prime sale. I think it was about £127. I've had a look recently and they seem to have gone up in price, so if you're looking for one, I would definitely hold out for one of those sales. I've had it for about 6 months now and I used it throughout all the summer last year. I also used it in December and January in the winter months and it held up pretty well. Right, first of all let's talk about the fabric. So most tents these days are made of a lightweight synthetic such as polyester, nylon. This particular one is made of 20D nylon. They do a different version to this which is a 21T nylon I believe, but I'll leave a link to both of those in the description. Right, the weight. I've actually wrote these down because I did actually weigh this, got everything separate. So a tent itself on its own, that's minus the poles, just the tent in the bag, is 960 grams. The poles came in at 483 grams and then the pegs came in at 90 grams. It does also come with a footprint which came in at 266 grams, so in total, if my maths is right, that's about 1.8 kilograms, in total. Well, let's get it up, we'll have a look outside and we'll also take a look at the inside as well. Right, that's the ground sheet down. Next up is the poles. Pretty simple. It all comes in one. Each one of the poles just slots nicely. I say nicely, I'm using one hand, but nicely into each one of those eyelets. So once you've got each corner in those eyelets that I've just shown you, that is the ground sheet and the frame ready to go. Next up we've got the inner. And what you're wanting to go and do is, for each one of the eyelets, you take the pole out and then put this one over the top and then feed the pole back through. Attaching the inner to the frame is pretty simple. It's just these little connectors here. I'll try and show you with one hand, but there you go, in and then twist, and then that's it secured. So that's the inner on. Now time for the outer. To attach the outer, it's actually pretty simple. Chuck the outer over the tent and then on each one of these points in the corner, secure it in, and that's it. Yeah, so I've not actually pegged it out fully, but hopefully that walk around sort of gives you an idea of what it looks like from the exterior. So as mentioned, this is the Cloud Up 2. The two meaning that this is advertised as a two-man tent. You'll probably see a lot of people sort of talk about two-man tents being more for a one-person tent with room for your bag, and I'd have to agree. I think if you're using this as a two-person tent, you'd have to know them pretty well. I have used this as a 1.5 man tent. I took my son wild camping sometime last year now, and we were both fine in here, but like I said, if you've got two fully grown adults in here, it'd be a tight squeeze. When choosing your own tent, you need to sort of take into consideration what camping you'll be doing. Now I know that I'd be using this mainly in the spring and summer months, and it's perfect for that. I did use it, I think I mentioned earlier, for 2 days or 2 separate days winter wild camping, and it was fine, but they do a winter version of this. I'm pretty sure on Amazon this did say a 3 to 4 season tent, but I definitely wouldn't class this as a 4 season tent. When I did go out in the winter, I paired it up with a good mat, a good sleeping bag, and I was fine, but it's just something to take into consideration. So a final recap and my own personal opinion on this. There's a reason why this tent is heavily reviewed, and I guess the main one is down to affordability. This is one of the best tents I've seen in this price bracket, and that's the reason why I chose it. There is a couple of things I don't like about it, and I'll show you them now. So hopefully you can see okay in here. It's a little dark, but on the sides there's no pockets, and only a small thing, but it is nice to have them at the side whilst you're sleeping. The only pocket that is available is the one up here, and you wouldn't want to put your phone up here. A nice feature about it is there is a hook here for a light. In terms of what it's like once you lay down, I'll show you that now. So that's my head all the way to the back, and I've got probably another foot at the end. And another good feature, whilst we're talking about height, is the height room that you've got inside here. Now, I am vertically challenged at 5'8", so maybe not the best review if you're 6 foot or over, but when I'm sat in here, I've got plenty of room, sort of this much, so I think you'll be fine. If I can find the internal measurements, I'll pop them on the screen now, just so you sort of get an idea of how wide and how long it is. But yeah, hopefully this gives you an idea of sort of what this tent's like. You know, the material's great, the pitch time is around 10 minutes, so that's always a good thing. It's affordable, relatively lightweight at 1.8 kilograms, and I'm definitely happy with it. Like I said, I've had it for about 6 months now. I've put it through, you know, various tests, and definitely one of the best tents I've ever had. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.